I bumped you, I'm sorry.
No, I totally hit the brakes on it because I totally missed that turn. At least you don't lose parts to your car when you hit, so that's good.
Hello everyone, welcome to the NSM Racing Series. I'm here with Chester from Lumens. We're going to be talking, well, what's new with Lumens and maybe do some high-speed action here in a little bit.
Excellent, I'm looking forward to that.
How's it going, Chester?
I'm awesome, Silas. How you been?
I'm doing great. What's new for Lumens? It's a new year. You know, this is, I feel like, a very pivotal year for so much of the industry, so many different brands or new things, AI is a word and all that, but what's kind of been the kickoff for you looking in 2026?
You know, for us Lumens, you know, you've known us in the past as a document camera company to maybe a PTZ camera. That's kind of what we've developed. Mm-hmm. But over the last couple of years, we've really changed who we are from a simple, single piece of solution to a complete solution. From the moment you take an image from the camera out to streaming it to the real world. So for us, we have filled in the gaps where we have a processor, we have connectivity, and we got the camera. So for us, it's been very important for us to get that done. So we want to make sure that we are really looking at that. We've also partnered with Microsoft Teams, so we're now Teams certified on some of our products, Zoom certified on there, NDI certified on there, and then on top of it, we've really worked a lot on the compliancies, so we're TAA and also NDA compliant on almost all of our product lines. So it's really been a change from a single solution piece to the solution to a complete solution to what we have on there.
Nice, and those certifications are super important for resellers and integrators, so that's great to hear. But with the solution thing, that's a term a lot of people use. Could you describe a little bit of what a Lumens solution looks like and some of those pieces and how they fit together?
Awesome. You know, there's a number of things to talk about, right? So we have the cameras, so we are well known for our PTZ cameras. So we do a number of different things like that. So we have, you know, 12x, 20x, all the little flavors that you have in between. But from the camera, where do you go from the camera? And that's the next portion of it, right? So obviously you have multiple protocols with either Teams, Zoom, NDI that you can use, or simple RTSP, have that connected to a switch, or have that connectivity. How does that connectivity go to your laptop, right? So we have our OIP devices that will now connect, taking everything IP and do a single simple USB-C cable to your laptop, and you're done. The other portion you talk about is taking that content from the video and then how do I edit it? How do I stream it? So we have our media process that can handle that as well. So as we mentioned, from the point that the image is taken all the way out to the real world, we do supply that capability.
Nice, and the NDI to USB has been something that people have been waiting for years, and the fact that you guys got it going it's a huge home run.
It has been. It has definitely been, for sure.
And it's just so useful because that was like the tipping point or not the tipping point, but like that was the break point of like you could get NDI lots of places, but sometimes it was tough to like, okay, I need like 4 converters to get it to USB or something.
Exactly.
So the fact that you got it in one box that's one of my favorites that you guys got.
But that's the simplicity of that solution is really to eliminate a lot of the possible potential failure points. You can, like as you mentioned, 4 devices that you had on there.
Yeah.
If you had it set up and you can go just directly from an Ethernet port to this device, convert that NDI signal into your laptop via USB-C, you've got one device. It costs you less money to do so, less failure points on there, and if there is a failure point, it's pretty easy to diagnose where the problem is at.
Nice, and yeah, I remember talking to a dude who, similar kind of sentiment with what you're saying a couple years ago, and he was like, yeah, I'm running like 4 different of these, like 3 or 4 different boxes together.
Yeah.
I'm really tired of like having to shove all this in a closet, and I just wish I had one box. But so with your solutions, you know, it feels like that could fit in a lot of different verticals. But what are the kind of places you're focusing on? You know, you said TAA, so that's obviously kind of government.
Yeah.
But is there anything else you want to?
Yeah. So let's go back real quick on going back to the NDI topic to USB on that. That's actually been working really well in the higher ed space and learning management solutions on there. So right now we just finished an implementation. We'll be doing the last part of it. So we've got quite a few number of rooms in the hundreds that we set up. That's an NDI house, and we're using an NDI camera with tracking. And we'll talk about AI in a second, but stage tracking the lecturer. So we're following the lecturer as they speak, and during their quarterly, what do they call it? Lecture halls. Was it 3 times a week or whatever that is? So we're using that capability and converting all those NDI signals into one single USB-C. simplifying it. In addition with that, going back to what you said also on the TA and NDA side on there, we have a lot of work with what we're doing in the federal government space. But even some of the state and locals are requiring that, having that requirement, and public universities are starting to ask about TAA compliant product.
Really? Oh, wow.
It was a shock. I heard that question, I was like, I didn't realize it, but it makes sense.
Are you government school?
Oh, I mean, they're state funded, I guess. And maybe
Yeah.
there's some are federally funded as well. But that requirement is being a necessity now. So we've seen that in about 4 different states now started asking that question. Maybe not a requirement, but they're starting to ask that question. Are you
Yeah.
TAA? And that gives us an advantage.
And there's other advantage. I mean, TA hits a lot of good things too that they want for security anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's just an easy blanket thing to say.
Yeah, and we're seeing that in the Fed space. You know, we've got large tenders that we're working on with a lot of the DOJ and the DOD working on opportunities for us. So it's for us, and being probably one or 2 or 3 PTZ cameras that are TA compliancy, it's definitely given us an advantage.
Nice. Well, the biggest word of the year has been AI or phrase, or I keep blanking on the what that means, the terminology wise, but that's been what on everyone's minds, whether we like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's thrown around willy-nilly, and sometimes, you know, I've been asking people, you know, I want to see some really cool use cases of AI, some creative things that aren't just like simple things that I'd be like, all right, yeah, everyone's kind of got that. But what does AI mean for you guys? Are you doing anything creative with AI? Is there anything that's really like, okay, this is the methodology of why we're using it, and going forward, we're going to be kind of using AI in this way?
I think AI is a necessity, period. We are using AI in what we do for our speaker tracking solutions, where we can go a simplified version. Think of a conference room with 16 people and people are speaking, and you're still doing this through some whatever means through a video conferencing solution, so that people can find out actually who's speaking versus trying to guess while watching the video room who's speaking. The camera will focus on that one, right? So we have a couple variations either with Voice Connect or with our Cam Connect solution to do that, and we're working with third-party microphones. The other one is the stage tracking I was mentioned for in learning management, where we can have a lecturer walking across the stage back and forth, and that camera will follow the individual as they're walking. Now, the person who's doing sprints can't help you with that one, but if they're walking like a normal person does, the camera will be able to maintain that capability and follow and focus on the individual instructor.
Nice.
So that's part of what the AI works on there is for us. But we also working about how do we take that content and stream it to the real world, right? And that's where part of the AI is starting to develop for us as well. So we went from auto tracking capabilities either by voice or by movement. How do we stream that out to the real world? And that's going to be where the next step for us for an AI is.
Cool. I don't know if you've thought about it. I don't want to pry too deep, but in the lecture capture stuff, that might be kind of cool to see some AI working in there too.
Well, we are doing in the lecture capture. So we just finished
nice.
it. That's what I can't talk about the school, but it's somewhere out in the Northeast out there with a good football team. But that's what we did. So we basically been set up in almost quite a few hundred rooms with an NDI tracking camera following the teacher, plus using the OIP and NDI decoder with that capability and plugging into our laptop and functioning, and then using that as a tool for students to watch it remotely, watch it later. There are chat rooms that they use to ask questions to the teacher and back, or maybe the student advisor responds back or whatever. But the point is that it's building an all-encompassing system. They're using NDI in that situation, but some places are using Dante as well. Dante for us is becoming a large, they've always been huge in audio, but now they're making a big track in video.
Yeah.
Because they got lower latency. So we're seeing a lot of universities picking up on that as well.
Nice. Well, one last kind of question that's my segue to what we'll be doing next.
Yeah.
Have you ever done anything Lumens related in a race car?
We're going to do something? No, I've never done anything in a race car like that. That's a weird question. No, have not.
It's not common by any means.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're gonna do Lumens in a race car right now.
Oh, right.
So let's go hop in. Don't gotta worry about no stick or clutch.
Excellent.
All right, you should be good to go, and I'll follow you.
Do I just throw it into first gear and go?
Yep, right paddle.
Oh, there's no, oh, I thought there was like lights. Okay, here we go.
Nope, this one we just go.
All right. Is there lines on this? Oh yeah, there are lines. Thank goodness. what's been exciting is that just the transition we are from just being a single trick pony to a multi-solution. That for us is exciting to see. It just opens us up and really makes us stand out from the competition. Oh man.
Oh, I bumped you, I'm sorry.
No, I totally hit the brakes on it because I totally missed that turn. At least you don't lose parts to your car when you hit, so that's good. Oh man, dude, I totally whiffed that turn.
You're doing pretty good. You had some decent turns.
So is this set up at the in your office in Sacramento?
It will be.
It will be?
We have a new office that we're gonna hop into here, from what I've heard. Oh no! Now, I remember you saying you like Formula One, right? Or you like the movie or something.
I love the movie. I saw it on the way to Taiwan, and then I flew back from Taiwan. I saw it again.
Nice.
All right. Thank you.
Good racing.
I can imagine my kid be on this all day long.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Chester, for joining me.
This was a lot of fun. I appreciate it, man.